Hello, First Presbyterian friends. We are here with our Sunday school lesson for the first week in January of the new year, 2021. I hope that at some point soon this year, we'll be able to see each other again in church together. But for now, I'm really excited to be here to share with you a story about some people who went on a really long journey to visit Jesus. So I want you to think about if you've ever went on a long trip or a long journey and what you might have packed when you went. While you do that, I am going to light one of our candles. And I'll just put it up behind me as I read and talk with you today so that we can help remember Jesus and his presence with us. You know, we've been lighting candles for Advent, and all of those are lit, but we'll leave that candle burning right there just to remind us of Jesus's presence with us. I do have a special guest here with me today who is going to help me out a little bit as we tell the story. So, Samantha, can you tell us if you've ever been on a long journey?
Yeah, one time I was going to Florida. It took I think maybe 5 hours or 2 hours.
I think it might have taken a little longer than that, like 2 days. What sort of things? That was a long journey, and how did we get there?
Well, we had a car.
We drove our car, didn't we?
Yeah.
And what did you pack with you in the car when we went to Florida?
Well, I packed a blanket so in the car I wouldn't get cold. I brought a toy, a pillow, neck rest, and then last one is stuffed animal.
So you brought some toys.
And also clothes.
Clothes to wear, things to keep you warm. Did you have anything like a tablet or anything like that that you could use to keep you busy and pass the time on your long journey?
I did have a tablet.
Oh, okay. So you had some things to keep you busy, some things to keep you warm, and some things to entertain you. Thanks for helping, Samantha. Can you go ahead and mute your mic? I'm going to read the story and we'll see you in a minute, okay? All right. Samantha, can you see my screen? All right, friends. So the story that we're going to read today is called Visitors from the East. So we talked a little bit about going on a long journey. And in the Bible, this story comes from the book of Matthew. And we talked about what we might bring on a long journey. And the folks in this picture had a very long journey. I want you to notice the picture here. And notice that in this story, Jesus is not a baby anymore. Last time we talked about Jesus, he was being born in a manger in Bethlehem. And this story actually takes place in a home, not in a manger. And if you see, Jesus is not an infant or a baby anymore. The people on this journey took almost 2 years. So that is a really long journey. It took them almost 2 years to get to see baby Jesus. So I'm going to go ahead and read. Imagine getting ready for a long trip, one that would take months. What would you pack? In this story, some people go on a trip that took years. They weren't even sure where they were going. When Samantha shared with us at the beginning about her trip, right, she knew she was going to Florida and she packed things like a tablet to keep her busy and blankets and clothes. But remember, back in the time that we're talking about in the setting of this story, there were no cars. You can see the camels in the picture, right? There were no cars. There were no phones. There were no tablets to keep them busy. I wonder how they knew where to go without a phone or without directions. I wonder how they entertained themselves. How did they keep themselves busy and happy? I wonder what they talked about. In a land east of Bethlehem lived some magi. These people studied the stars in the night skies. They looked for new stars too. I'm going to come back to our meat real quick. And I want to show you something. We have, and this made me think of it when we read about the Magi's and how they studied stars. This is one of our Christmas decorations. It's not a star like you would see in the sky, but it's a decoration of a star. And I know many people like to decorate their homes with stars around Christmas time to celebrate the birth of Jesus. So as I continue to read the story today, I want you to listen really closely for the word star or stars. And every time you hear the word star, you can put your hands up in the air and do a little jazz hands, or you can even stand up and do some jumping jacks. But I want you to listen really closely as I read for the word star or stars. And then, like I said, you could make some little twinkle lights with your hands, or you could stand up. You could do some jumping jacks, but I want you listening for the word star as I read the rest of our story together. In a land east of Bethlehem lived some magi. These people studied the stars in the night skies. They looked for new stars too. One night they saw a new star, a bright star. They believed that this star was a sign that a new king was born. They packed their camels for a long trip to follow the new star. So instead of packing their cars like we might do if we were going on a long journey, they packed their camels. Listen to this. About 2 years later, they arrived in Jerusalem. 2 whole years later. It took us 2 days to get to Florida. It took them 2 years to arrive in Jerusalem. They went to the palace and asked King Herod about the star and the new king. King Herod didn't know anything about a new king or where this baby could be found. He called together the priests and his advisors. The priests said, "Prophets wrote that a baby king would be born in Bethlehem. He would be the king of the Jews. This must be the reason for the star." Hearing about a new king did not make King Herod happy. There could be only one king in the land, and he was the king. But King Herod was clever. He asked the Magi to follow the bright star until they found this new king. "When you find this new king," said King Herod, "come tell me where he is so that I can honor him too." The Magi followed the star. In Bethlehem, it led them to a house where they found Mary and the child Jesus. Now remember, like we looked at the picture, Jesus is no longer a baby. He is now a young child. The Magi knelt before the child. They gave him presents of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And those were frankincense and myrrh were either a type of oil or something solid that was very, very expensive and sought after. It was very, very special gifts, and the same with gold. In a dream, God told the Magi not to go back to King Herod in Jerusalem. So they went home a different way. So that is our story for this week about visitors from the East. Samantha, do you remember in the story where the Magi brought the child Jesus presents? You can unmute.
Yes.
Have you ever given a present or received a present?
Well, I have given a present to my sister, but I have received a present from my mom, my dad, Santa, my sister, and for some reason at Christmas from my dogs.
Oh, wow. So you know about gifts and giving presents. And the Magi brought those gifts to Jesus because they wanted to honor him, right? They
Yeah.
wanted to honor him. What do you think it means to honor someone? Oh, Samantha.
Well, what I think it means to honor someone is you like you don't just give presents, you like be nice to them. And
Oh, I like that. So sometimes, right, we can give gifts or presents to show someone that we care for them or we honor them, but really we do that through our actions. And sometimes it can feel really nice to give a gift to someone else, can't it?
yes.
Yeah. We're going to watch a quick video before we end today. So if you can mute your screen or your mic again, Samantha, we're going to watch a video and it's called Giving Gifts for Kids in Need. So we're going to watch this together before we end.
I brought the kids in today just because I think it's an important part to show that, especially this time of year, that giving back is just as important as getting, and especially at a young age, it's easy to sometimes forget that. It's nice to have the connection of where you go versus just dropping off in a bin.
I was talking to my mom one day and I said, I want to donate to Children's Hospital and help them in a certain way. We asked for books that were unused or used that they wanted to donate for charity. And then we turned around and sold those books for money and we got donations.
Well, at my middle school, I'm in a class called Leadership, and our teacher gave us a leadership project, and she said pretty much you have to figure out something to do that would help your community. You can do anything, but it would have to help your community. And I thought, hey, this would be a good idea. I had a party, and it was a Christmas party, and I sent out invitations to friends and family, and I gave them a list of what they could bring if they could. And a lot of people brought a lot of stuff.
I brought in 12 wagons for the kids to sit in on their way to other places in the hospital. There's a shortage of them, and some of them get taken home or lost, and there's always a need for more.
I brought a lot of toys for the kids, and I brought some mind puzzle games, and I brought a lot of stuffed animals that my friends and family donated. I think they're really going to like them, because I like them. So I think they're really going to like them.
The kids at Children's really need this because their families are focused on their health and well-being.
This is basically, in a way, the kids' Christmas present. Well, one of. They deserve a lot more, but because in the first place, they're in a hospital, and I think they deserve to have some fun while they're here and ride around in style.
I think that being a child here during the holidays or being a family here during the holidays would be extremely hard because you're used to spending time with your family at home and your traditions, whatever they may be, and actually not being able to enjoy those would be difficult.
We've never been here during the holidays, but we know how tough it is for the kids to be here during the holidays. So we had targeted it, trying to deliver the wagons right around the holidays.
I think this time of year, for me to give back is just as important also throughout the year, but definitely in December. There's so much that I think everyone is and we are very thankful for, and I just want to make sure that everyone else gets touched in that same way.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so we just watched that quick video about some kids who decided to honor some children and their families who were in the hospital over the holidays. So there are lots of ways that we can honor others, just like the Magi honored Jesus with the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Before we end today, I would like to teach you just a little blessing. And Samantha, I'm going to put you back on the screen in a minute. So I'd like you to do this with us. Okay, I'm going to do it first and then you can repeat it and the kids at home can join us. And apparently the dogs would like to join us too. All right. So Samantha, go ahead and unmute and watch my movements too. You're going to repeat what I say and do the movements. Okay. And Buster is too. All right. I'll go first. The Lord bless you and protect you.
The Lord bless you and protect you.
The Lord makes his face shine on you.
The Lord makes his face shine on you.
Very good. And be gracious to you.
And be gracious to you.
And grant you peace.
And grant you peace.
All right. We hope you are all staying safe and happy and healthy, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Thanks for coming to Sunday school with us today. Bye.
Bye.